Did Mr. Duggar ever grill you guys about your financial situation before marriage?
It's on the 45-page application.
You think he's joking?
Roman numeral number 5.
Y'all, okay, did y'all not fill out like a whole little thingy for daddy?
Everybody did the 30-page questionnaire.
He is not kidding, yes.
Yes, they did.
I got sent a 50-page questionnaire. I sent it back at 105 pages.
So we're more the guinea pigs kind of thing. So it's like any questions you think
You got it before y'all recording though, right?
Hey you guys, it's Katie from Without a Crystal Ball. Welcome back to my channel. So right before the trial with Josh Duggar, we're going to talk about 2 separate items today, and they're not even going to be related. And it's not going to be a super long video, but I want to talk about something that I'm not sure you're going to click on, so I'm going to stick it in this video. So before the trial, we were talking a lot about Jill, because Jill Duggar was going to potentially testify in Josh's trial. And there was a lot of questions about what she might testify to and why they might call her and why she was on the witness list. And she never had to testify, but she did finally, at the very end, show up to the trial with her husband. And after they had rested, she was there for the closing arguments. And she posted a blog post where she basically said that she agreed with the verdict and she was glad that justice was served. And their hearts were with Anna and the kids, and they were glad that Josh was gonna go away. And she posted on her Instagram. She posted the next day on her Instagram on a walk with her dog Fenna and said, I got out for a nice walk today with Sam and Fenna. It's getting to 70 degrees today. Then it started raining for us on the way back, so we had to rush home because I wasn't prepared for the rain. So thankful for coffee from friends, walks in the nature, food from the family, and supportive messages and continued prayers. And that was the last time she posted, and that was on December 10th. Now, a couple days later, her dad ran for office, and Derek Dillard spoke out publicly against Jim Bob, and Derek has been relatively quiet as well on his Instagram. He did a 10-year challenge where he showed a side-by-side, but Derek hasn't also been posting very much either. So in the last couple weeks now, Jill's been gone from her Instagram for about a month, and some of her loyal fans are starting to wonder where she is. And I'm honestly not super concerned. I think she's probably doing okay. I spoke to Derek, I don't even know, a few weeks ago. It seemed like they were maybe just taking a social media break. I didn't really ask too much, but I think she's fine. I think she's taking a break, letting this chaos that's ensuing the family die down and maybe get back to regularly scheduled programming. But what I like about what Jill is doing is that she's not going on Instagram and acting like nothing's happened. Jill, unlike her sisters, has really taken a moment to not make it seem like everything's fine. Jessa is uploading normal content, posting new photos. She was just posting a photo of Spurgeon homeschooling and acting seemingly like nothing's changed. Joy did post once, and she posted on her YouTube this month, but she said she'd be taking a month off for January. And Ginger has been posting as normal. She just had a bridal shower for one of her good friends. But Jill isn't posting, which means to me like she needed a break, probably physically, mentally. She's been going through a lot, you guys. She was almost going to testify. Can you try to imagine what that was like? Who knows if she got any kind of pushback from her parents? Who knows if she got any threats? We don't really know because we don't know. She doesn't share that kind of stuff, but I'm guessing she needed to disconnect, which is a good thing. But this hasn't stopped people from asking her if she's okay. So on her Instagram, she said, someone said, we miss seeing your posts. Where are you, Jilly? And then I miss seeing your post. I hope you and the kids are well. Hey, I hope you're okay, Jill Dillard. And if you're not, Know that everything will be okay. And someone said, you and your sisters have been through a lot. The bravery and the fact that this came out in the open has removed a predator from the streets. However sad for your family, I can't help but think that who you have saved. I'm proud of you. I miss you. I came here to see if you posted anything lately, and I just wanted to let you know that I noticed you're absent, and I hope you're doing well. People are concerned about her, and maybe now she's taking a moment to reflect on where she's at in her life. One of the criticisms that the girls have received is their sort of splashing of their lives and following in the footsteps of their parents by making content that includes their children and sharing all their sort of details about motherhood and all the things that they got so used to sharing. And now she's not online, and she's taken a break, and she's not sharing pictures of her kids. And I'm gonna say it's probably a good thing, because by not posting, she also doesn't have to see any of the negative comments. Because on top of all of the support she's received, there's going to be a sect of people that are supportive of her family that are going to look at her as though she's the traitor, and that she's the one that caused the damage, and that she's the one that was disloyal to her family. And sadly, the closest people to the Duggars think that way. And so she limits her exposure to outside negative influences, which might just allow her to heal. So we're going to say that while people are concerned for Jill, I hope she's doing this just for a mental health break and taking care of herself. And I congratulate anyone that can take a step back and reflect and get out of the mess. Jessa is lashing out left and right at people online. I mean, I get snappy in comments, but that's just me. That's normal, right? But Jessa, who doesn't always get snappy in comments, is more heated than normal. So she's stressed. So maybe Jill's trying to avoid the feeling that Jessa's going through. And on top of that, their trial is still for their lawsuit. They're going into a settlement conference coming up in February, and she might just have a lot going on. They announced a settlement for the trial, or for their case against the city for releasing the documents about the police report related to what happened to them as kids by their brother. That's got a settlement conference coming up in February, so she might just also be doing a blackout to prepare for that as well. I don't know, but I'm sure she's okay. I just wanted to address the issue since a lot of you guys have been asking questions. Jill Duggar's absence has been sorely missed, but I think it's good for her to not be online right now, and I think Jessa could actually take a cue if she took a break. She might not be so aggravated. So the next up is that Lynn Spears, who is Britney Spears' younger sister, she recently wrote a book, and the book is called Things I Should Have Said. And if you followed along with the Britney Spears story about the conservatorship, the dissolution of the conservatorship, and all the goings on in between, one of the things that Britney has been doing over and over and over again is calling out her family, since she's been able to get her voice back, for not doing more to help her, to in court basically saying that she wished that her family was always had a right to speak about her, but she never was able to comment back. They would do interviews about her and speak about her to the public, but she was never allowed to say anything that she wanted. They took away her rights to drink coffee and, drive a car, and she said she couldn't get married or have a baby if she wanted one. So she has released this book, and it's coming on the heels of Britney getting out of her conservatorship. And she's dragging Britney a lot in this book. And I purchased the book on Kindle, and I've been reading through some of the chapters, and I'm a little bit taken back by Lynn's belief that this book is really about her, and why she thinks that right now is a necessary time to release this book. Britney is finally getting a voice, and Lynn is very adamant to defend herself in this book, claiming that she had nothing to do with Britney's conservatorship, which most people know that she was a teenager when it started, but over the years, from an outside perspective, it seemed like Jamie wasn't really publicly doing anything to help, and she certainly wasn't motivating the Free Britney movement along at all. She's really stuck to the family narrative, and that's kind of what she's done in this book. But Britney and her have been going back and forth on between Twitter and Instagram. Britney has basically said that she's lying. She didn't, the things that Jamie Lynn has written about her did not happen. That she's accusing her of taking her a knife and making her go into a bedroom with her and putting the knife in a bed and then saying, I'm scared. She accuses Britney in this book of getting in her face and yelling at her and saying this during quarantine. And the one thing I noticed about Jamie Lynn's book is that while she's going through this book and reflecting in almost every situation that she talks about, Jamie Lynn really doesn't accept her role or responsibility of what her role was in a situation. She really speaks to it as the victim of almost all situations. And it seems like in the book, you see a very unhealthy dynamic with their family of pushing two kids to be famous, but because of the age gap here and such a high need on Britney's career because she was so successful, Jamie really feeling like left out in the shadows. Even though Jamie says repeatedly in this book that she never felt like she had to compete with Britney, there's this overlying undertone in the book of competition. But there was a couple snippets in this book that I just wanted to talk about. And if you're interested in hearing more about it, let me know in the comments and I can continue on. But I wanted to introduce it in this video. So she basically has an entire chapter called My Testimony, which is the second to the last chapter. And it's all about the conservatorship and what Britney said out publicly and what she said in court and how Jamie feels like Britney threw her to the wolves. And she describes a situation where she says that she was, that her sister's outward view and the words that she's saying aren't matching what she's saying to her privately. And this is what she had to say about Britney speaking out publicly, and she doesn't agree with it. She says, my relationship with Britney and our struggles has nothing to do with the conservatorship, but rather the boundaries I put in place to maintain the welfare of me and my immediate family. Britney's description about the way that she has been managed and treated does nothing to break the cycle. All of us have to manage our own lives and struggles the best way we see fit. So Britney's description about how she was managed and treated does nothing to break the cycle. Basically, Britney finally speaking out does nothing to break the cycle that she thinks that Britney is stuck in and that their family dynamic is stuck in. She says her wake-up call happened during quarantine. So listen to this. I finally received the wake-up call I needed to change during quarantine when all of us were living under one roof again. I saw the same childhood dynamic with my adult eyes. Britney became enraged about something trivial. She doesn't expand on this at all, so it's a little hard to gauge. She came at me screaming and getting up in my face while I was holding Ivy, who was only 22 months at the time. Despite my best efforts, she continued on the attack, and Maddie had to get in between us to protect her little sister until my parents could finally get Britney to retreat. The girls and I were visibly shaken. I decided then and there, no more. Mama begged me not to upset my sister. Jamie Lynn, please don't upset your sister anymore. You know how she is. She can tell when you're anxious. And I stood mouth agape. I couldn't believe she was asking me to put my feelings and those of my children aside to once again pacify my sister. Experiencing this dynamic as an adult and a mother was the catalyst I needed to remove myself from the situation. I wouldn't ask my children to pretend everything was fine to soothe my parent or sister, nor would I continue to do it for myself. Although the pandemic necessitated that we stay together, I made certain that the girls and I distance ourselves from the cycle of behaviors. I'm not sure why they had to stay together. Britney didn't want to be there. And the hard thing with this description is she provides no context. So Britney has a voice now, and this book feels very opportunistic to me because she's capitalizing on a very difficult time in Britney's life by releasing this book to defend herself because she feels like it's not fair that she's getting threats because of things that Britney has said out publicly. Britney's finally got her voice back after 13 years and I think has a right to say what she needs to say, but Jamie Lynn, for some reason, doesn't want the narrative to be controlled by Britney. and she feels like Britney is not telling the whole truth and could call off all the abuse that she's been receiving publicly. Britney responded to this last week, and this is what she said. The two things that did bother me that my sister said was how my behavior was out of control. She was never around me much 15 years ago at the time, so why are they even talking about that unless they want to sell a book at my expense? It's like, congrats, babe, you've stooped to a whole new level of low. I've never been around you ever with a knife, or would I ever even think to do such. The only knife I ever saw with you was at home, was cutting the biggest piece of squash I've ever saw in my life, and it was way too big for me to cut. So please stop with these crazy lies for the Hollywood book. Now, and only now, I do know only a scum person would make up such things about someone, and I'm actually very confused about you making that up because it's honestly not like you at all. Around the kids, Jamie Lynn, seriously, come on. Congrats on introducing your older sister to the concept of getting low, lower, and lowest, because you win on that one, babe. So she denies that the thing happened with Ivy, and she denies the Knights in situation. Now, throughout this book, which I can tell you more about if you're interested in more content like this, she goes into how she had a penchant for making up stories. She always liked grabbing attention from people and would say off the wall things to get attention, and even talks about striking when the iron is hot. So is Jamie Lynn's book opportunistic to you, and is Britney's response reasonable to you? I'm on Britney's side, just so you know. So don't come at me. I'm not agreeing with this book, but I think, there is a place for a healthy dialogue here. So tell me what your thoughts are in the comments below. Bye, guys.